Hello, I'm Blade BoQuest, and this is going to be a power leveling farming life skill guide. So it's been a little while, guys, since I had a guide out, and I've been getting into farming a lot. There's a lot of useful things with farming. So I'm going to teach you two things. First is going to be how to get the most amount of farming XP as fast as possible. There's a specific system that cannot be beaten. I'm going to show you guys what I found today. And the other thing is the best way to get T9 mats, because everybody loves those things. That comes from breeding. So as you do breeding and things like that, you'll be able to get fruits. You need fruits for a lot of different things, some workshops, alchemy, goes into drafts, lots of just good use out of farming. So we're going to go specifically over that, and let's go right into it. All right, so here we are. There we go. We got the in-game character hanging out on the farms. Okay, so let's dive right into how this stuff works. Basically, you have to invest your contribution and get fences. You take these fences and you can place them wherever it is that you want in Black Desert, as long as it's not in a safe zone and not on a road. That means you can put these things on a Gyfin rotation. I literally grinded while farming in the past, and you can get really creative on where these things go. But the bottom line is you just got to figure out a place to put them, and you can have up to 10 farms. And farms will cost a variety of different amounts of CP. So you can get the smaller farms for 6 CP, or the larger farms for 10 CP, and I go with the larger farms. So whenever you do plant your crops, you can get these seeds right off of the marketplace. It's fairly simple to find. All sorts of different seeds. You can get them right off of the marketplace. You can get them from breeding plants that you already have. You can get them from gathering these types of things with a magical, or with a hoe. It doesn't have to be magical. Just using the actual gather life skill. There's a variety of ways to get seeds. But once you get them and you plant them, your crops will grow over a period of time, right? Then you have 2 actions whenever you're finished after 100% growth rate. So you can see these are almost 200%. At 200%, they don't grow anymore. And you have no pruning opportunities past 100%. So the 3 different things that you can do with crops would be harvest them, right? So you're getting the things back. Like if you go up to this and you harvest this, the result is going to be a purple mushroom, because we're growing purple mushrooms here. So there we go. That's that right there. The other thing you can do is breed them. So if you breed them, you're going to get back the seeds. So you can see there's 1 purple mushroom seed. That's what it looks like. On average, you get about 1.5 seeds whenever you're breeding, in case you're curious. So it's a range of 1 to 3. And the third action, and the most important for power leveling farming, is pruning. Okay, so when you're pruning, it means that something went wrong. Something went wrong with these plants, and the bar became red. Now, if you're leveling farming up and you're trying to get farming XP, pruning is the single best thing that you can do. If you harvest, these are rough numbers because they will change based off of the actual yield that you get. But if you harvest, we'll just call that like your standard 1 times basic farming XP, right? If you're breeding, you get about 3 times that. But if you're pruning, you get anywhere from 8 to 10 times, sometimes 15 times the amount of XP you would get from harvesting. So pruning is your single most important thing to do if you're trying to level up farming, right? So that's what the pruning here does. It takes these yellow bars and it turns it back into, or it turns the red bars back into yellow. So the situation now to maximize farming XP comes down to finding, number 1, your fastest growing crop. Okay, as I told you already, there are many different things that grow, tons of them. The 2 fastest growing crops in the game are purple mushrooms, these right here, and this weird flower called Dalvinia aurea. You can turn these into crates and you can make some money with them, but ultimately the seeds will vendor for less than the purple magic seeds, and the crates are worth less than the purple mushrooms. However, other than that, they're practically identical. So as you breed them, you still get fruits of nature, very, very important. And then as you plant them and you grow them, under ideal circumstances, you can grow this entire plant, start to finish, 0 to 100%, in 2 hours and 42 minutes, I think it is. That's under perfect circumstances, which would be, for this particular crop, which would be up here at Logia Farm, because the weather is nice and warm up here. It's one of the things to consider. You can see the temperature range all across the game here. I don't know if you guys ever looked at that. And the next thing to look at would be groundwater information, actually. So for the fastest growing plants, actually for almost every plant, ideal circumstances would be north of Logia Farm. So basically, if you're going for T9 mats, if you're going for the most amount of times you can breed, if you're going for the harvest, for cooking, or for crates, anything like that, you want to be growing north of Logia Farm. This is the fastest, best place to grow things to get the 0 to 100% cycle. However, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the XP. Let's get that XP. So there's a lot of things that you can do in terms of buffs, and we'll go over that in just a sec. But purple mushroom is interesting. So if we look at the crop info, it is already completely done. Let's plant one more. So I did get one seed earlier. We're gonna plant that, and we're gonna go back and we're gonna look at it. We're going to see a couple different things. So the estimated time is 5 hours. I just told you the grow time would be 2 hours and 42 minutes, right? So how would this serve us? The reason this time is so much longer is because, look, we're out of the temperature range and we're actually in bad humidity, you guys. So what happens when you have bad humidity situations, your plants will get tangled. Plants will get tangled. Like if we look at these have insects on them. That has insects, that has insects. That one, same kind of thing. This one is tangled, so it needs to be pruned. Pruning and killing insects, I consider them the same action, right? So it's that you're pruning, killing insects, that's the same kind of thing. That's how you get the most XP in the game. So we take the fastest growing plant possible, and then we give it the worst possible conditions. So what I did was I looked at the map, I looked at the groundwater situation, and for weeks I just put farms here and here and here and up here and over here and over here and whatever else, and I changed its location. And I also found that the groundwater changes throughout the day, which is kind of interesting to watch. But ultimately, you guys, for this particular plant, the purple mushroom, the worst condition is right across from Heidel. So how convenient is that? Now you would not get so what that would do, giving the fastest plant the worst conditions, means you're pruning them all the time, and that's what we want. That is absolutely what we want for XP. And you'll be able to prune them so fast that basically you can plant them all, and by the time you're done planting them the first time, you have to prune them again. You have to prune this plant in this area, I don't know, more than 5 times just the same kind of plant, like right here in Heidel, which is where I grew them to test some of these things. Now, in heavier groundwater situations, you're not going to be able to prune them more. So if you're outside of the humidity range, then you're good, right? It doesn't matter if you're here or if you're here. For some reason, you can drag these, which is fine, I guess. But that's not relevant. The important thing is it's not ideal circumstances in either case, and that is your fastest possible farming XP method in this game, Black Desert. All right, let's talk about fences real quick. So that's going to be important, as you can't actually start without fences. Nice and simple, top of your screen, you've got the NPC finder. You're going to type fence right in there. And all you have to do is just mouse over these, and you can read right there what it says, small fence. So if you left click this NPC, it'll actually give you a waypoint, and then you just have to auto path all the way up there, if you like, just like that. And these are rentable items, so you invest your contribution, you rent the fences, you can pick them up, put them down anytime that you want. And it says exactly what it does right there. So you would invest 3 contribution and you could get a small fence that would give you 4 crops, or really it's 4 plots, because some things actually take up more plots than just 1 or 2. Another option right here, you can invest 6 contribution, you can get the plain fence or the medium fence, and this would allow you 7 crops right here. Past that, this is what I go with. So the strong fences or the large fences would be 10 contribution. One thing that's kind of nice, whenever you get 10 contribution invested and you get your fences, you're going to see them actually be much bigger than my fences. So it's a perk of having Artisan 1 farming. It will allow you to use these old moon fences, which you can get in old moon vendors the same way as you would in like Verter drafts and old spices and things like that. So you can just get it here, and same kind of thing, you just search for that and you can track those down. All right, so let's go over a couple different buffs that you're gonna need whenever you're doing this. So if you guys watch my live stream, you can tell that I've not really farmed that long. Like in the last, I mean, a little bit over a month, I've not really been farming all that long. And I already have Master 3. And I have another character that's almost Artisan 1. One of my guildies started using this power leveling method. Just, again, it's right across the river from Heidel. And it's 10 large fences, and it's purple mushrooms. So it's 100 purple mushrooms, and you're always pruning it. That is your power leveling method. Guildie went from beginner 1 to Artisan 1 in 3 days. Like this is some crazy stuff. I'm not that experienced as a farmer. I've done it maybe 3 months over the last 2 years. You know, this last month really hard, and then to grow a couple things very casually in kind of inefficient ways just over the last 2 years. If farming ranking is interesting to you, you can find, so that would get you almost in the top 30 in farmer, at least on this particular channel right now, with just what, half of a week of doing this. So it's something that you can get involved in very quickly. Anyway, so the buffs that we should talk about here, I like to use villa buffs. So I go over, grab a villa buff. You guys are unaware, you can just go up to any of these blue buildings here, take a 10 million gold bar, give it to the NPC outside that villa, and that's going to give you this invitation. So this invitation lasts 7 days. Apparently I have 5 hours left on it, unfortunately. And with a pay-to-win tent, you can get those buffs anytime. Without a pay-to-win tent, you have to go back to the villa, and you can get either 1.5 hour buffs or 3 hour buffs. So that not only gives me an extra point of energy, but on top of that, it will give me, where is it? Extra 10% life XP. Okay. So this life skill does have close. So you can enhance it up to +5. +2 I think is plenty. You're going to start cranking out probably 150 million or more on average to try to get a +3. +4s could cost anywhere from 500 million to over $1 billion. So it just depends on like what it's worth to you. If you really want to go all out, which I ended up doing for some reason, you can get this. So this is a farming clothes costume. There are luxury vendors in this game that we've passed over and over and over again without giving it a second look. These luxury vendors will sell you a wearable costume for about 1.5 million. There's one right there in Heidel. And then you can actually take a tailoring costume. Let's see if I can track it down for you. Tailoring costume, or there it is, coupon. Tailoring coupon, and this will allow you to actually wear that, which would then add an additional 10% XP. Obviously, the flowing time elixirs are the way to go. These guys give 15% life XP. They're not that expensive and they last 15 minutes. If you do want to step up, you've got 15-minute duration on Vert or Drafts, which would give you a 20% life XP buff. You always have the standard Suit T, which is 8% life XP, or you could go the route of cron meals if you can track them down, as they are typically more expensive to make than they are to sell, so you don't often see these on the market. But this would give you 10% life XP rather than 8% life XP. I'm sure no one really wants to do this, but in the essence of full inclusion of all this stuff, you could use whale meat salad, and then your life food XP would increase by 15% rather than the 8% from Suit T or the 10% from a cron meal. So you could go ahead and do that if you want. Obviously, to continue to maximize XP, GM blessings add on an additional 10%, or the higher versions add 15% life XP. Lastly, if you are in a guild, you can get these experience cry buffs out every 5 hours. Ours is still on cooldown, as I try to pop those as much as I can for Exceptional Legion, and that will give you 10% life XP on top of that. So those are, you know, about as many buffs as you're going to need for this sort of thing. What's really nice is you can have a character, your main or not, it's up to you, put it on your farms, and then after that just go and have a whole nother character. Like mine is out here in Pilgrim's Haven, and I can gather, spend that energy, and then swap back 10 minutes, 15 minutes every hour, however often you want to do it, and your crops will basically be ready to be pruned again. So I'm going to replant this farm here, since it is something I need to do. If you guys just saw a second ago, I did get a fruit of nature. Depending on what it is that you're breeding, it's going to change what kind of fruits that you get. So purple mushrooms, Dalvinia aurea, would be fruit of nature. Things like wheat would be fruit of the sun, peppers, crimson flame, things like that. So you just look up one of the text guides that are out there. You know, there's tons of those. You'll easily be able to track down one of those. All right, so this is the window for actually replanting your farm. To go through 100 crops and prune them completely, 100 prunes, 100 breeds, and replanting usually takes me about 25 minutes. So since it takes 5 hours in order to grow all of these things, I will not have to spend the full half hour, you know, more than a couple times a day. And then usually to run through the prune cycle is about 15 minutes. It's not too bad. Maybe 10-15 minutes depending on how many you're doing. So as you do this, you're going to get 2 types of seeds after you are Artisan 1. Oops, we want to prune. You never want to breed if you have the pruning opportunity. You never want to harvest. You want to prune everything as much as you possibly can in order to level up farming. Another thing is your channel time will actually go down to a minimum of, looks like it's 3.6 seconds, maybe 3.5. I might be reading it wrong. But it doesn't go down beyond that, unfortunately. But as you continue to just level up your farming, you're just going to get a shorter and shorter prune gather breed time, which really is convenient because in the beginning it's a pretty long channel. All right, so another thing you want to do, is not worry specifically about the type of seed that you have. I'm not even live streaming. He has no idea that I'm trying to make this guide right now. Day in the life of Blade Bowquest, you guys. The special seed, for example, is going to give you more fruits, but they're going to be pruned the same exact way. So you have like a basic seed or you have a high quality seed. That's not going to make too much of a difference. However, as you breed them, you do have a chance of getting higher quality seeds. So, oh wait, whoops. Did I just breed that without pruning? We lost XP. That's not good. So it's against what we want to do here. So just start with whatever seeds you can get, quite honestly. Purple mushrooms, there's usually a lot of special seeds in the market. They sell for between 70 and 80k a piece, so that's exciting. Fruit of natures, that's really where your real money is. So if you do want to farm for money, not just T9 mats to get the Pegasus that just attacked me, and then not just to get more farming XP for a cool trophy or get these high quality farms, these old moon farms that take up less footprint space. If you are farming specifically for money, it gets pretty complex. It's not necessarily the best thing to do as a new player, but these fruits are pretty much the way I go with it. So with fruits, you take those through alchemy, and that's going to give you the potential to make all these kinds of oils. Now each oil has its own different specialty. So oil of tranquility, for example, you just take a couple of those, you can go through manufacturing, and that would be how you produce these floats, for example. And you can look at these and you can see it's over 2 million, and it would require 3 oils, a couple lead crystals, really no big deal. So, you know, I'm over probably the next several months, I'll be producing, you know, hundreds of those, but not at a rate that decreases the market value. I'm pretty slow with that. Oil of Fortitude, for example, goes into Grim Reaper elixir, goes into Strong Draining elixir. So these things are life on hit or life on crit. They're, let's see, I think I have 1 draining left somewhere around here. Usually, oh yeah, okay, we got a couple. So this is 5 HP per critical hit you get. We get crit hits all the time. So imagine the life on hit build possible if you go through alchemy and things like that. Now those you can go right into the market with. You can use for your own personal end game PvP potion bank like I do personally. You can use it for grinding Gyphins. It's usually pretty useful if people don't have the best gear. So overall, you guys, just farming is a really nice thing to at least know about. This is the best way to power level it. Again, purple mushrooms across the river from Heidel, and you want to be pruning it as often as you can. As I go through here, I'll probably get like 7 or 8 fruits of nature from a plot of from 10 different farms. I have not noticed as my farming level increases that I get more and more fruits. That might be something that happens, but I've not seen that. After Artisan 1 though, you start to get these. So this is a magical purple mushroom. And you would not want to use that for XP, but you would want to use it for either getting more fruits, or if you're harvesting it for some reason, if you want to do crates, then you can do it that way. Either way, it's a very good thing to plant unless you're going for experience, right? Now, if you are going for experience, you just vendor it. It's 250k. It's no big deal. But if you do plant it, it takes up 5 plots. It takes up 5 plots and then gives you just a lot more yield. The other thing that you can get, and this is really, I mean, you're going to just see your XP crank up whenever you get these things. I don't think I've gotten any yet in my cycle through here today. It would be mysterious seeds. We'll get one here in a second. Whoops, I just pruned that without, read without pruning. So here are mysterious seeds. Now these things are fantastic money. Hold on to these. Basically what happens is you take the mysterious seed with another type of seed and then you shake it, and that will give you another 1 slot item. It doesn't stack once you create your mysterious seed, and it will give you about 7 times the standard amount of harvesting. So it takes up 5 plots, gives you 7 times back the harvesting, or if you breed it, it does not give you a seed back. It does, however, give you between 3 and 4 fruits every single time. So as I'm just going through and doing the standard pruning, I'm getting tons of these. If I ever want to crank out a lot of money, I mean, this is just so many fruits. Like, it's a crazy, crazy amount. The other nice thing is you get a huge amount of weeds doing this, and with weeds you can power level your alchemy, or of course you need these reagents for almost anything you do with alchemy. So ultimately farming is a really nice thing to add on to an established life skill schedule. So real quick, I just want to run through these farms. So I just finished planting everything, and you can see that even in the short time, I mean, we're talking less than a half an hour of going through, pulling everything up, replanting it, half of these need to be pruned again. So basically I can go all the way through and continue to prune, which is what I want to do anyway to get more weeds for alchemy and extra XP. So you just leave your character right here, do things, and other characters pop back over every couple minutes, and just in that short amount of time I ended up getting 5 magical mushrooms. So these will be vendored for about 250k. It's like getting 5 blackstones in a few minutes. It's pretty good. 200 weeds, and you know, all of these turn-ins right here, which you would never actually turn in, by the way. You would keep these and you would turn those into horse stuff, which I believe, let's see if I can figure it out real quick. It's with simple cooking. Sure, let's give it a shot. Let's see if this works. I think it's 20 of each type of turn-in, and then you combine this in simple cooking, and that should make one of the horse turn-ins to get, there you go, stone tail fodder. That'll give you 1% XP towards getting a T9, and I just got 3 of them. So overall, guys, good system. Again though, if you're going for XP and if you're going for max pruning to get more weeds and all that stuff, purple mushrooms across the river from Heidel. And if you're going for just most amount of times breeding, so you can get the T9 mats faster, or so you can get fruits faster by breeding, or if you actually want to harvest quicker and get the faster rate 0 to 100%, you do that north of Logia Farm near Velia. So, alright, that covers a lot. But yeah, that's basically how that'll go. It'll drain your energy pretty quickly whenever you're a low farming level. But if you really get into it, farming is a pretty profitable activity as well. So weeds can actually, you could use those as part of an AFK overnight activity. Let's see where I have these utensils for it. Yeah, okay, so you got Calpheon traditional alchemy tools, for example, has 2000 durability. You, depending on your alchemy time, you would probably be gathering anywhere from 7, or you would be doing alchemy anywhere from 7 to 10 hours, and the result would be probably about 13-14 million silver worth of reagents. So comparable to overnight fishing is, you know, one of the ways to process a huge amount of weeds that you would get here. Overall, it's a pretty good system. So those are your 2 main systems, you guys. All right, so good stuff. Another thing I want to mention, you guys, is that what you can do is have workers get sent to your farm, if you send workers to your farm, then you don't actually have to prune them yourself. So that is a good way to avoid getting XP, but instead of getting XP, you end up getting more weeds. So it kind of depends on what it is that you're looking for. You can see if your farms need to be pruned based off of just the icon on the map. And to actually send a worker to your farm, you would click on the fences up here. Let's see. A while since I did this. There we go. So you click on list, and then you have all of your workers available. The best worker to send by far is a giant. Simply because they have such great stamina. You really need to have that kind of stamina to run fences. I mean, these guys get pruned all the time, and if you have a goblin, it's going to be out of energy within 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's going to be out of energy constantly. It will completely drain everything that you're doing, all of your banks and characters of beer. But again, it will give you more weeds at least, so there's that plus. Otherwise, so another aspect of farming would be using fertilizer. If you go up to one of your plants and you look at your crop information, this one has about 2 hours and 14 minutes left. Talked about organic fertilizer a little bit earlier in just the notes, but if you have it in your inventory, you right click it, that'll actually dump it over these farms here. And it actually should hit all 6 farms because they are smaller. You can view crop information that went down about, I don't know, half hour or so. So it actually cuts a significant amount of time off of your growing. So yeah, these were hit by fertilizer as well. You can kind of, if you have the larger farms, you can kind of put it in the corner between 4 of them and it'll hit it that way. You can also do the same thing for water if you're just trying to grow them faster. If you're going for the T9 mats up here, make sure you use that organic fertilizer. A big part of farming is getting sharps and hards. Sharps and hards, huge part of farming. They used to have such a high drop rate that people farmed specifically for them. They since were nerfed and then they were buffed again, and people are really confused as to where that stands right now. So if you take these two, juxtapose each other, one gather versus one farm pruning action, you're more likely to get a sharper hard from the pruning action. However, because it takes that longer amount of time, right, in the mid 3 to 4 seconds versus your 2-second gathering. If you're specialized in gathering, you go through your energy like that out in Pilgrim's Haven. You do get more sharps and hards reliably from gathering, but you do definitely get them while pruning as well. So just keep in mind that's a part of it. The last thing is, we talked about the rough bases of different XP. It's all based off of what you get in the end. So if you breed and you get a mysterious seed, that's going to give you more XP than if you prune and you get 1 caterpillar, or you know, something like that. But overall, we did the comparison already. Just know you might see it fluctuate a little bit depending on what you're getting. Weeds are valuable, twigs are not, caterpillars are not. Everything else you get, pretty valuable. Alright guys, thanks for watching. So again, I'm Blade BoQuest. I live stream almost every day at twitch.tv/BladeBoQuest. That's my channel. You can see other Black Desert Online guides at my website, bladeboquest.com. Hope you guys learned how to power level your farming, how to min-max your T9 mat farming and materials as well. There's so much I can go into in farming. I mean, we didn't even really hit how to get your own hay stacks by drying weeds, planting those to actually have cows show up, to get more milk for your cooking and things like that. There are so many different ways to go with actually making money in farming. But again, I really wanted to drill those 2 points home, and I think we did that. I got a little bit of interference, but that's just my life, so it's all good. And let me know what your questions are, you guys, in the comments, and I'll try my best to get back to you on those. Lastly, I've got a link to the song in the description, and then also a link to a variety of different things that you can breed frequently in order to get fruits. So check for those 2 links there. Other than that, you can always reach me almost anytime at my Twitter, at BladeBoQuest. All right, I'll see you guys later.